Shrugs is such a good book. It was written 90 years ago and it feels like this could be happening today.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Little Frenchie in Big Texas. I am Anne, and today I am going to talk to you about 3 books. Right there, these 3 books that are, I would say, must read in today's world. They are not recent. They were written, one before the Second World War and the other 2 just after. So not recent at all, but they were written by authors that were visionaries. And reading them, it will help you reflect in today's world of what's happening today. So what have these authors in common here? First of all, they're all classics. So you cannot go wrong with any of these books, and they could make some perfect Christmas gifts. The second thing that I found interesting is that none of them are Americans. 2 of them are British. One was from Oxford, the other one born in West Bengal, India, and the last one was originally Russia, from St. Petersburg, then migrating to the US. They all finished here at the end. But very interesting in the way they depict the world, so either as a science fiction or as a new way of living and a way to explain their philosophy. So you got 2 different approaches here. So let me start here with my favorite one, which is Atlas Shrugged from Ayn Rand. The astounding story of a man who said that he would stop the motor of the world, and did. Tremendous in scope, breathtaking in its suspense, Atlas Shrugged is unlike any other book you have ever read. It is a mystery story, not about the murder of a man's body, but about the murder and rebirth of a man's spirit. Which is a very good, because I read it exactly as a murder story. I mean, I literally devoured it. It was just fascinating. I could not get my eyes off that book the first time I read it 25 years ago. It was just, wow. A wow, really. It's the world of the railroads, the conquest of the West, but at the same time you have a government that is over-making regulations and making it almost impossible for businessmen, for the man with or woman with a mind running a business to actually develop it. So it's a fight between the looters, the government regulations, and the business owners, all going out one by one in a world that has no meaning, up to almost extinction here. Strongly encourage you to read it. It is fascinating and extremely well written. And look, just turning on the TV this morning, here's what I heard.
Crime should be a wake-up call. And there was a line in there, Mr. Speaker, where you talked about Ayn Rand's novel and how there's a parallel in that it could lead to law-abiding people just deciding to stay home or to drop out of society. I'd like to give you a chance to expand on that this morning.
Well, I just listened on Fox and Friends to a small businessman in Portland, Oregon, who has changed all of his plans, is putting all of his new investments outside of the state of Oregon, and has said, and walking into the studio this morning, he passed 2 people on the street who were injecting drugs, and that he has no interest in staying around a drug-ridden, crime-ridden area that he feels that he's been robbed at 3 times in the last month. So
the second book here is probably the most well-known of all, 1984 by George Orwell. So George Orwell is the British that was born in West India, in Burma. And I think all of us know at least the sentence, the Big Brother is watching you. That's from this book. That's where the Big Brother is. And once again, we're talking about government control in that book. And that one takes place is in an imaginary future that is in non-stop wars. And as well with a total government controls, repression, and mass surveillance, pretty much in this book. So this one was written just after World War II, and it's very inspired by the regime of Stalin and Hitler Nazi. So just keep that in mind, but it is a good food for thoughts about the consequence of government oppression, pretty much. So this is what you're going to find at the end of the book. Just an excerpt here The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Right? So a startling and haunting novel, 1984, creates an imaginary world that is completely convincing from start to finish. No one can deny the novel's hold on the imaginations of whole generations. Yeah. Or the power of its admonitions. A power that seems to grow, not lessen, with the passage of time. Highly recommend. And that one is not too long and not too hard to read. Extremely well written. I would definitely recommend. And the last book here is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. So that is the Oxford Scholar. It is a mix of philosophy as well as science fiction here. So once again, it is in the future, in a world where the science pretty much creates the individuals. All the citizens are engineered, artificially made, and born in predetermined classes. A fantasy of the future that sheds a blazing critical light on the present. So it is a darkly satiric vision of a utopian future where humans are genetically bred and pharmaceutically anesthetized to passively serve a ruling order. Very, very good one. So pretty much the government here, whoever is running this new world, determines the gender, the classes, the people, very much walking in the same direction. Very interesting book as well. More on a science fiction kind of thing, but some good food for thoughts as well. And just take a minute to think about the similarities with today's world.
So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. But they're really criticizing science, because I represent science.
Really? Just some ideas to reflect on what's going on in the world today. So that one is the oldest one, written in 1932. Imagine, 90 years ago. Socially engineered people. This one here, constant state of war, government oppression. And the last one here, the productive man, business runners facing destruction by the government and the looters. Very interesting books. I would highly recommend. They make a great gift for Christmas, for the holidays. Good reading. It's always good to have books, you know. If our electronics fail, what do we have? We still have the books. I would recommend having a few, even if you're not too much into reading. People are less and less nowadays, but sometimes it feels good to go back to the old way. Definitely recommend these 3 books. I will put the links in the description below. I ordered all of them on Amazon. I know they were running a deal last week on this one. Maybe the Prime days, you might still be able to get some deals before the holidays. So don't hesitate. As I mentioned, you cannot go wrong on this. I hope you enjoy. And if you really don't like reading, yes, some of them have been made in movies. I haven't watched the movies. Once I read a book, I have a certain idea, image in my mind, and watching a movie usually does not correspond to what I imagine from this book. But I know for sure this one has been made of a movie, and I'm guessing the other 2 probably as well. But I would not recommend these movies actually. If you really want to watch a movie, I would go for The Matrix. That's a very good one as well. I would check out The Matrix. I think there's a new one coming up or something, remastered, re-engineered Matrix. Go and check out The Matrix. Excellent movie. And another one, good food for thoughts to help you reflect on what's going on today. So I hope you found this useful and you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And if you have any suggestion of other books to read, please put in the comments below. Thank you for sharing and thank you for watching.